Liverpool versus Arsenal at Anfield. It doesn't get bigger than this. Two title contenders, two unbeaten sides, and some mouth-watering matchups. Predicted lineup for Liverpool. Liverpool definitely going to start in their 4-2-3-1 formation. Maybe some changes. McAllister starts alongside Gravenberg in that midfield. For Arsenal, Saka, he was pulled out last game against Leeds for an injury, so I'm not sure. Day to day, maybe Madueke gets pushed to the right and Eze gets to start. Now keep in mind, Eze has already played 2 games in the start of this season. That was with Crystal Palace. However, he might start his second game against Liverpool because in the Community Shield, he played that game where Crystal Palace actually won. And Merino maybe plays alongside Zubimendi on Rice. Now, let's talk about the matchups. Let's talk about Ekitike, one of the hottest strikers in the league this season. So far, 3 games, the guy has scored 3 goals, 1 assist. So who can stop him? Will it be the best defense in the league? I'm talking about Gabriel and Saliba, the best central defensive pair. 0 goals conceded so far. Let's talk about Gyökeres, who scored his first goals against Leeds. Remember, Arsenal have at Leeds 5-0. He scored 2 goals. He will be going against Van Dijk and Konate. They've conceded 6 goals in 3 games. So there are some question marks over there. And we've seen how that defense has crumbled against some physicality. And Gyökeres, he has that power. So those are some matchups to actually watch. Now, talking about that midfield, Gravenberg is back. He was suspended in Liverpool's first game against Bournemouth. However, he came with a bang, scored a goal against Newcastle. So it's going to be interesting to see how that midfield battle works. One thing that you have to be mindful of, if Saka starts to the right with Eze, I know his day-to-day, that little knock he had against Leeds, that will actually force Liverpool, I'm talking about their left and right back, to maybe stay and try to track these guys back. Because these guys are very elusive. 1-on-1, 1 against 2, these guys can still go through their markers. So that will be another important matchup to watch. Salah, Mo Salah. Mo Salah has not been the Mo Salah we've seen last season. However, this is a little bit too early. All the plays for Liverpool now are going through Ekitike. You don't see a lot of action with Mo Salah. But keep in mind, Van Dijk likes to connect long balls to Mo Salah. And that's if Arsenal plays a high defense. So that will be also important. Who scores first? Because Arsenal can score early goals and then play a low defensive line, which will affect the way Mo Salah actually plays. He excels a lot when it's a high defensive line, when he can get those balls over the top and run at defenses. Okay, so those will be some good matchups to actually watch. Now, talking about head-to-head last season, both teams drew 2-2. Some of the scorers are still there. I'm talking about Martinelli, who scored at first for Arsenal. Gakpo, who scored for Liverpool. Diaz scored. Diaz actually left. He's now with Bayern Munich. Then Merino, who might start for Arsenal in that midfield. He actually scored. So these are some good matchups to actually watch. Now, this is the biggest test for either team so far this season. Forget about the game Arsenal went and won at Manchester United. Manchester United did not have that type of firepower. That's why Arsenal cannot sit deep and try to suck, the pressure. You can't do that against Liverpool. Liverpool is going to murder you. You have to attack their weaknesses, as I earlier mentioned, which is defense. You have to attack like Newcastle did, especially in the second half, and score 2 goals. So 2 clear favorites for the Premier League title going against each other this season. As I said, both teams drew 2-2 in both games last season. I'm calling this one on identical score again. Another thriller, 2-2 for Liverpool against Arsenal. But I want to hear from you. What's your take? Liverpool with Salah, Ekitike, and that Anfield row, the 12th man, or Arsenal with Saliba, Gabriel, Saka, and Gyökeres. Let's know your score and prediction.